Sunrise and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, emergency responders had to rescue the driver of this semi-truck that jackknifed into floodwaters yesterday. A stark warning to you drivers out there. Remember, turn around, don't drown. And Boeing CEO will meet with senators on Capitol Hill this week for a series of meetings on the recent issues with their 737 MAX 9 airplanes. 25 News now has the story developing out of Washington. Plus, Jon Stewart returning to late night. The former host will make his way back to his old stomping grounds next month, returning as the host of The Daily Show. We have the details on this story and more coming up on Sunrise.
And the rain is finally done with this morning, exiting out east, but we've got another chance of it coming out there tomorrow. We'll take a look at that in the weather coming up.
You're watching 25 News Now Sunrise. Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Carolina Astrain.
And I'm Parker Cox.
And today it's the 25th day of January 2024. The time is now 6:31 on our Thursday morning, and it's National Observe the Weather Day.
Observe a weather day. You know, I was actually thinking about doing a question of the day for today. I feel like that'd be more weather related, wouldn't it?
It'd be more weather related, but I think you went the right path with Florida.
Oh, love Florida. Florida's a great state.
Florida's so much fun. Love Texas a little bit more though.
Oh, gotta love Texas.
But not much to observe weather-wise today, is there?
Not too much to observe weather-wise today, Carolina. You are so right. We got that rain. It's finally out of our area. If you didn't like any of that rain, it is finally gone. But we might have a little bit more coming our way tomorrow. We'll look at that in just a few minutes. Because if y'all tuning in right now, y'all look at a live look at Victoria, where you can see no more rain. A little bit chilly out there though. 56 degrees right now, but with a dew point of 54. Bringing your humidity to a 93% because it's just 2 degrees off from that temperature. So might see a little bit of fog out there this morning. Anywhere you see 95% or higher on the humidities right now, which is where you might see a little bit of light fog starting to develop. But up there in Nixon and Karnes City and Gonzales, you're at 97%, 100% in Refugio. Y'all might definitely be seeing some fog out there this morning. So please be careful out on the roads this morning. But the good news is with that fog will be out of our area by later this morning. I'm thinking about 10 a.m., maybe 11 a.m. if we're getting lucky. But looking at your weather headlines for today, especially going into this weekend, it's going to be foggy the next couple mornings. This morning, tomorrow morning, and Saturday morning as well is when we're expecting that fog. Last day of rain is tomorrow. It's going to be a little bit of a light drizzle, a little bit of light showers. We'll take a look at that in just a second. But after that rain is all said and done, we got nice and cool weather ahead. Now, like I said, looking at the Doppler right now, we can actually see where all the showers we had are all pushing out east out there near the border, near Beaumont. But coming up a little bit, we're going to take a look at the timing because we're thinking we still might see a little bit of drizzle and some showers coming our way tomorrow. And that's coming up in just a few moments. Back to Carolina.
Thank you, Parker. A semi-truck driver became trapped yesterday after floodwaters swept the semi off the road. It appears the semi jackknifed and went straight into floodwaters. Take a look at these photos from the water rescue. Emergency workers had to use a rescue boat just to get to the driver. The man got out safe thanks to help from the Gonzales, Nixon, and Smiley fire departments, and there are no reports of any injuries. The National Weather Service has issued a river flood warning posted for the Crossroads in Lavaca County. A river flood warning in effect until early Friday afternoon for the Navidad River at Sublime. The river is expected to rise 30.6 feet this morning. The flood stage is at 24 feet. In DeWitt County, a river flood warning in effect until early Saturday afternoon for the Guadalupe River at Cuero. The river is expected to rise above flood stage this Thursday morning before cresting at 26.9 feet early Friday morning. And here in Victoria, 2 river flood warnings start today. A river flood warning goes into effect this afternoon until Monday morning for the Guadalupe River at Victoria. The river is expected to rise above flood stage early this afternoon to a crest of 27.7 feet early Saturday morning. That flood stage is at 21 feet. A river flood warning goes into effect this evening until further notice for the Guadalupe River at Bloomington. The river is expected to rise above flood stage this evening and continue rising to a crest of 26.2 feet Saturday evening. Flood stage is at 20 feet. And Texas has issued flash flood warnings in many parts of the state as the heavy rain continues. Texas state emergency authorities and weather experts want to remind drivers to turn around, don't drown. They're advising you to find another route if you come across a water-covered roadway, no matter if you're driving a small car or a big truck. With all the rain some residents in the Crossroads have dealt with, Flooding has also arrived, and a resident in Inez says it just seems to get worse and worse. Glenn Zandonata has lived in his home in Inez for over 50 years, moving there in 1969, and he's no stranger to flooding. But over the years, he said it has gotten worse. With some of the work that's been done to Miller Road, the road that's right in front of his home, he says that it's only encouraged the flooding more.
Right here, it'll stay like this 3 or 4 days now until it dries up because it can't go nowhere. And you can see right there, it's almost across the road. They put a pipe underneath it. That's all they got to do. Put a pipe there or dig this out, one of the two.
And Glenn says he hopes to hear back from his county commissioner for Precinct 4, Kenneth Sexton. 25 News Now has reached out to Sexton, and his office says they're working on it, but Zandonata says he's yet to see results. Boeing CEO David Calhoun arrived to Capitol Hill Wednesday as he starts his meetings with senators about the situation with the 737 MAX 9. Calhoun met with Democratic Senator Mark Warner from Virginia. Seeing as Boeing is headquartered in Virginia, Calhoun also planning to meet with Senators Maria Cantwell, Ted Cruz, and Tim Kaine in the coming days. There's a new push to make it harder for children to access social media. Lawmakers from New York to Florida are taking new action.
Lawmakers in Florida have approved what could become the most strict crackdown on social media in the country. A bill passed by the House would ban anyone under age 16 from signing up for most social media platforms, regardless of whether they have their parents' approval.
It's like a digital fentanyl, and even the most plugged-in parent or attuned teen has a hard time shutting the door.
The bill, which passed with bipartisan support, does not specify which platforms would be affected, but it targets any company that tracks user activity, allows children to upload content, or uses design features like endless scrolling, which critics say encourages compulsive use.
They're just taking advantage of kids growing up.
Opponents say the bill infringes on parental rights and will face First Amendment challenges in court. The ACLU saying the internet, including social media platforms, contains vast amounts of constitutionally protected speech for both adults and minors. Meanwhile, in New York City,
we are the first major city in America to take this step.
The mayor has now designated social media as an environmental toxin and public health hazard. The city's health department issuing an advisory that cites declining mental health among young people. But social media companies like Meta, which owns Instagram and Facebook, have long touted their improved security features and parental controls to protect children. And supporters say social media has real benefits, allowing teens to connect and find people with like interests. Lionel Moyes, ABC News, New York.
The New York advisory urges parents to delay giving children access to a smartphone until age 14. Meanwhile, in Florida, the bill passed by the House still needs approval from the state Senate and the governor. Our sources have confirmed that comedian Jon Stewart, who hosted the show from 1999 to 2015, is making a return to late night. A release from Comedy Central says Stewart will host on Monday nights through the 2024 election cycle and then continue on as executive producer for every episode until the end of this year and next. On days Stewart is not hosting, The Daily Show will continue to rely on a team of rotating correspondents. Word of Stewart's return comes after more than a year of uncertainty in the search to replace Trevor Noah, who exited the show in 2022 after hosting for 7 years. Stewart's first show back is scheduled for February 12th. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. The time is now 6:39 on our Thursday morning. Here's a look at what's coming up. Authorities have arrested several men connected to a New Year's Eve assault at a home.
Nikki Haley saying she's staying in the race. I'm Jay O'Brien in Washington. The big donor, though, saying he's holding off backing Haley until she can show she has a path to win. Coming up.
And also coming up after the break, we'll take a look at your school bus forecast, that allergy report as well, and later on Sunrise, we'll take another look at that nice weather that's coming our way next week. Well, good morning, Crossroads. If y'all are tuning in with us this morning, look at a live look at Cuero, where you can see the clouds are starting to slowly clear up, going into this afternoon because all that stuff is finally out of our area. All that rain is finally gone. About 54 degrees out there in Cuero right now, but with the dew point of 53, just 1 degree off from that temperature, you got a 97% humidity. So you might see a little bit of fog out there. Visibility says 10 miles right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's a little bit of patchy fog out there this morning. So please be careful if you do see any fog out there this morning. But if you're sending your kids off to school, it's going to be about 56 as they're heading out the door, but nice and warm this afternoon, about 67 today under partly cloudy skies with all that rain is finally gone. But looking at your pollen forecast and also your air quality and UV index as well, no pollen expected today, so no need to take an algae pill. But the air quality is going to be good today, and your UV is going to be moderate at about 5 out of 10 today. But after the rain is done tomorrow, because we might see a little bit of drizzle and light showers, we are right back to the nice weather. We'll take a look at that in just a few more moments.
All eyes in the Republican primary are turning to South Carolina.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Nikki Haley on the campaign trail in her home state of South Carolina ahead of its primary next month, challenging former President Donald Trump to debate her.
Bring it, Donald. Show me what you got.
The former UN ambassador saying her campaign has raised $1 million on the heels of her second-place finish in New Hampshire, despite a roughly 10-point loss to Trump, her former boss. But at least one big money Haley donor pulling back for now. Reid Hoffman, billionaire co-founder of LinkedIn, announcing he's holding off on making more contributions to Haley's campaign until he sees a viable path for her to win the nomination. Trump, heavily favored to win in South Carolina and then again on Super Tuesday, continuing to bash Haley, calling her bird brain in a recent social media post and saying her donors are barred from the MAGA movement. The former president also mocking the dress Haley wore on primary night. Haley hitting back.
Donald Trump got out there and just threw a temper tantrum. And out of everything that he said in his rant, he didn't talk about the American people once. He talked about revenge.
Meantime, President Biden gearing up for a general election matchup, receiving a key endorsement from the United Auto Workers Union yesterday and focusing his attacks on Trump.
Well, I stood in solidarity with you on the picket line. As your president said, I want to pick a line. Donald Trump went to a non-union shop and attacked you.
During his remarks at that UAW event, President Biden was interrupted by protesters calling for a ceasefire in Gaza. This after several interruptions at a campaign event earlier this week by similar protests. All of it prompting serious questions of if the Israel-Hamas war is causing a rift between President Biden and progressive voters. Jay O'Brien, ABC News, Washington.
That leads us to your viewer poll. You can scan the QR code right there on your screen to take part. We ask you, who do you think will win the South Carolina primary? Okay, let's take a look. 52% of you are confident that Trump will win. And let's see, 48% of you say Haley may be able to win her own home state. We want to thank you for taking part in our viewer poll. You can always take part by going to crossroadstoday.com/vote. Authorities have arrested several men in connection to a New Year's Eve assault at a home near Moulton. Lavaca County authorities took the suspects down in the Austin area Tuesday. 23-year-old Miguel Mendiola and 34-year-old Enrique Mendiola face aggravated assault causing serious bodily injury charges. And 20-year-old Jesus Mendiola faces a charge of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. All three suspects are also on an immigration detainer. The three men reportedly beat and stabbed the victim suffering cuts to the chest, stomach, ribs, and hand. He also suffered a head injury for being struck with a blunt object. The suspects remain in the Lavaca County Jail with bonds set at $75,000 each. The investigation into the incident continues this morning. The time is now 6:45 on our Thursday morning. Coming up on 25 News Now Sunrise, we hear from our friends at Harbor Hospice.
Well, good morning, Crossroads. The good news is for y'all this morning, the rain is finally out of our area, pushing east with a little bit more coming our way tomorrow. Take a look at that just a second, because today's weather poll asked, did road closures due to the flooding affect your travel at all this week? So take a look at what y'all saying. About 15% of y'all said yes, that rain, that flooding did affect your travel to work or wherever you were headed. And about 85% of you said no. That's pretty good. Most of y'all didn't see that, but some of y'all did. So to vote on today's weather poll, go to crossroadstoday.com/vote weather to participate and see what everybody else is saying as well. Now let's look at those totals that we saw from this week. In January alone, we saw 7.42 inches, and this week we saw 5.6. I did the math behind the scenes. 5.6 inches of rain within 5 days of giving that. That is incredible. That is a lot of rain. You can ask any meteorologist, they say the same. That's a lot of rain for just a few days. But as you can see where all the rain is right now, pushing out east, out there near Beaumont area and near the border of Louisiana. But we do have a little bit more coming our way. I'll take a look at that second, like I said. But looking at your rainfall totals from yesterday alone, we saw up to 3.5 actually up there in the Gonzales area. I guess the number changed, but that's why they had those flash flood warnings and they had to cancel some of their schools. But like I was saying, we might have a couple showers, maybe a little bit of drizzle, light showers coming our way tomorrow afternoon. But then the good news is it's clearing all out of our area by tomorrow night. But for the rest of the day, it's going to be a little cool, only warming up into the mid to upper 60s. But we're going to take a look at that and those rain chances and more in just a few more moments. And Carolina, I hear you have a guest this morning.
I'm now joined by Genevieve and Tinez here to talk to us about a blanket and sock drive. Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, it's great to see y'all. And Tinez, talk to us about your role with Harbor Hospice and this drive.
So we partnered with Harbor Hospice like 3 years ago. We did our first blanket drive, and my wife, she was working for them at the time, and she's the one that actually gave me an idea, like, hey, you should do this for this. You know, I'm working with all these hospice patients, and they could really use it. So I was like, all right, and she put me in contact with Genevieve.
And Genevieve's a person to get in touch with. Genevieve, remind us, how long have you been with Harbor Hospice?
Our family moved here almost 3 years ago, so 2.5 years now.
2.5 years.
Yes, ma'am.
And this blanket drive, what does it mean to your residents?
Oh my gosh! So, this is our, like Tina said, this is our second annual blanket and sock drive. We're going to be hosting it at Target. Target store is very generous to help us host this event, and our patients, their ages are ranging from 27 years old to 107 years old. So they can really benefit from a nice warm blanket, a pair of socks. And so last event we were able to provide blankets and everything for all of our patients. And so it was really neat, and they were very grateful for it.
And it's such a small item, a blanket or a sock, but it makes a huge difference in feeling loved, feeling supported, not forgotten while you're going through these final chapters.
That's true. And as he said earlier, his wife, she was an amazing registered nurse with us and a case manager. And so she got to see firsthand that our patients, a lot of them don't have families, they don't have a support system. They might be in a nursing home, they might be in their own private home, but they just don't have anybody either to visit them or provide those necessities. And so we become their family, we become their companions and people that see them on a weekly basis. So she saw the need, and we were able to partner and make a big impact for them.
Yes, ma'am.
Definitely. And how can the community help out if they want to make a contribution?
Really just because we'll be at Target from 9 to 4. Just come out, drop off a blanket. You can either bring one from home, from somewhere else. The Target's going to have blankets there already. My chapter itself, I think we've already purchased 97 blankets already.
Wow.
And that's already going to be there, ready to be on our trailer to donate. Like, we would like to essentially fill up our trailer. We got a big trailer that we do our toy drives and stuff with as well. And if we can get that whole thing filled up, it'd be great.
Wow. And you're with the Calaveras.
Yes, ma'am. The Calaveras here in Victoria.
I love that jacket.
Thank you.
So, and you'll have to know that they are the draw for the events that we do. The customers come in, the Target customers come in, or anyone comes in, and they'll ask us, well, can we go talk to the bikers outside? Like, they don't want to talk to us. So we're kind of using them to, get the fun, started. And so everybody loves to go and see the bikes and talk with them and thank them for helping us with this.
Definitely. It's a wonderful community collaboration. Thank you all again for making the time to come on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
All right. Well, coming up, don't go anywhere. News to know before you go. A Michigan State trooper was killed during a traffic stop Wednesday night. Authorities say 39-year-old trooper Joel Pop and other troopers were investigating A suspected impaired driver stopped in a curved lane of traffic on northbound Interstate 75 near the Birch Run interchange around 7:15 p.m. During the traffic stop, an 81-year-old male motorist struck two police cars and Pop, who was outside his patrol car at the time. Pop was taken to a local hospital where he was later pronounced dead. He's survived by his wife and young daughter. A lockdown has lifted at Kennesaw State University after a possible armed intruder was reported on campus shortly before 7 p.m. The university's emergency management posted on social media that an armed intruder was reported on the campus. They had asked everyone in the area to seek shelter and lock all doors and windows. Authorities later said there were multiple suspects before finally issuing the all clear around 8:15 p.m. Police confirmed no shots were fired on campus and no injuries were reported. It's not known who the armed suspects are. Early voting continues in the City of Victoria mayoral election. You can vote at the Dr. Patty Dodson Public Health Center today and tomorrow from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And on the ballot, it's Peter Brown, Carissa Winters, Josephine Solis, Dwayne Crocker, Jacob Sauceda, and Bob Constantine. You can also vote Monday and Tuesday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Former President Donald Trump infuriated with Nikki Haley. That's from sources close to the former president. Since his New Hampshire win Tuesday night, he's grown increasingly angry with the South Carolina governor for declining to drop out of the primary race. And Wednesday night, Trump warned in a social media post, quote, "Anyone that makes a contribution to Nikki Haley from this moment forth will be permanently barred from the MAGA camp." Trump and his campaign had hopes that the New Hampshire win would effectively end his GOP presidential primary race, but Haley announced she would be sticking it out at least until the primary in her home state of South Carolina next month. More Texans than ever enrolled in the Affordable Care Act this year, with more than 1 in 3 residents covered under government-subsidized health plans for 2024. That's according to final enrollment numbers released Wednesday. Read this story by the Texas Tribune on our website, crossroadstoday.com. And we want to invite you to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, and Android TV. Just search Crossroads Today Plus. And now let's get a look at our forecast with Parker. Parker, do we need to put our guard down with this beautiful day we have ahead of us, or do we need to be on the defense? Because I saw that low on Monday.
Well, the low on Monday, it wasn't too bad. It's actually going to get kind of nice next week. Actually, starting tomorrow, we're going to get a little bit of rain, but we're going to take a look at that just a second, because if y'all are tuning in right now, you're looking at a live look at Victoria, where right now the rain is finally done with about 54 degrees with that rain-cooled air out there right now, making it also a little bit humid, about 97%. But with all that rain-cooled air in the area, we are all starting out in the mid-50s this morning, but we're going to be warming up into the mid to upper 60s this afternoon. If we get really lucky, some of us might even hit 70 today. It's going to be a nice warm day today before we drop back into the 50s and 60s again overnight tonight. But like I was saying, we might see a couple showers tomorrow. Going to be a little bit of drizzle and some light showers in the area. Going to be developing in the area tomorrow, but once that is done, it's going to be all said and done. Starting tomorrow night, the rain is finally out of our area. But after the rain is all said and done, we are back to the nice, cool, nice weather.
It's going to be feeling like Valentine's soon.
Oh yeah, it's going to be feeling fantastic soon.
Well, great. Thank you, Parker, for that forecast, and thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful Thursday, and remember, follow us on YouTube, Crossroads Today, and join us tonight for 25 News Now at 5, 6, and 10.